Admiral Cathvar stood on the command deck of the flagship Dominion's Wrath, his 6 eyes fixed on the blue marble that hung in the void before them. Earth. The homeworld of the species that had dared to reject the Vorthan Empire's generous offer of subjugation. Such a small world, he mused, his chitinous fingers drumming against the neural interface panel. Hard to believe these humans have caused the Empire such inconvenience. The fleet stretched behind him like a metallic constellation, 12,000 warships, each the size of a small moon, bristling with quantum disruptors and singularity cannons. The combined firepower could crack planets, had cracked planets. Entire star systems had been reduced to cosmic dust by lesser armadas. Commander ZYX Tal, his second in command, approached with the peculiar sliding gait of the Vorthan species. Admiral, our scouts report no significant orbital defenses. A few primitive space stations, some outdated missile platforms. Their largest vessels appear to be laughably small. Cathvar's mandibles clicked in amusement. And their response to our ultimatum? A single transmission, sir. 2 words, try us. The Admiral's laughter was like grinding metal. Primitive arrogance. They'll learn respect soon enough. Signal the fleet, standard planetary bombardment formation. We'll blast their major population centers first, leave enough survivors to serve as an example to other upstart species. But as the vast armada began its deadly dance into attack positions, something peculiar happened. The humans weren't running. Their few ships, tiny things that looked like metal splinters compared to the Vorthan dreadnoughts, were moving into formation as well. Curious, Cathvar observed. They mean to fight. The human fleet numbered perhaps 300 vessels. Against 12,000. The mathematical impossibility of their situation should have sent them fleeing to the outer rim. Instead, they held their position between Earth and the approaching Imperial Armada. Admiral, the tactical officer's voice carried a note of confusion. I'm detecting some unusual energy signatures from the human vessels. Their power outputs are inconsistent with their size classifications. Cathvar waved a dismissive appendage. Desperate modifications, no doubt. Fear makes even prey species dangerous for a moment. Commence primary bombardment. The order rippled through the fleet. 12,000 ships began charging their primary weapons, energies that could boil oceans and split continents. The void between fleets crackled with barely contained destruction. Then the humans fired first. What happened next violated everything the Vorthan Empire understood about physics, warfare, and the natural order of the universe. The human ships didn't fire conventional weapons. Instead, space itself seemed to unfold. The first Vorthan dreadnought simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed. Ceased. 1. Moment it was there, a kilometer-long monument to Imperial engineering, and the next there was only empty space where it had been. No debris, no energy signature, no trace it had ever existed at all. What? Cathvar began, but his words were cut short as more ships began vanishing. Dozens, then hundreds of Imperial vessels were simply being edited out of reality, as if some cosmic hand were erasing them from existence. Impossible. Commander ZYX Tal shrieked, his translator struggling with the ultrasonic frequencies of Vorthan panic. Our shields, our armor, nothing can penetrate. Another wave of whatever the humans were using swept through the fleet. This time, Cathvar watched in horror as an entire battle group, 300 ships, vanished simultaneously. The space they had occupied rippled like water, then snapped back to normal as if they had never been there. Emergency jump protocols. Cathvar roared. All ships retreat to hyperspace. But the retreat command came too late. The human weapons, if they could even be called weapons, were spreading through the Imperial fleet like wildfire through dry grass. Ships weren't just being destroyed, they were being retroactively removed from existence. The very concept of their presence was being deleted from reality. In the space of 17 seconds, the greatest armada in the history of the Vorthan Empire was reduced to scattered handfuls of ships fleeing in blind terror. Of the 12,000 vessels that had arrived to claim Earth, fewer than 50 remained, and those only because they had been at the fleet's extreme edges when the impossible assault began. Kethvar found himself alone on his command deck, his crew having been vaporized when whatever impossible technology the humans possessed had grazed their ship. The Dominion's wrath was dying around him, its quantum-locked hull developing fractures in dimensions that shouldn't exist. Through the static of failing communications, a human voice cut through clear and cold. "This is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You were warned. Survivors have 30 seconds to clear our star system before we finish what you started." The Admiral's 6 eyes fixed on the blue world that had somehow become a graveyard for Imperial ambitions. How? How had these primitives, these barely space-capable creatures, wielded power that made gods seem like children? As his flagship began its final death spiral, Kethvar realized the terrible truth. Humanity hadn't rejected the Empire's offer of subjugation because they were primitive. They had rejected it because they were so far beyond the Empire technologically that the offer itself had been an insult. The last thing Admiral Kethvar saw before his ship, too, was edited from existence, was Earth, still blue, still serene, still utterly untouchable. In the end, the Empire had sent 12,000 ships to invade a civilization that had transcended the very laws of physics. It had been over before it began.